Hi, I'm Max Mansfield, developer advocate engineer at Zoom. In the last 5 years, I've been helping developers build on the Zoom platform. And most recently, I've been working on the RTMS SDK to simplify access to real-time meeting data. In this video, I'll show you everything you need to get started, from app setup to receiving live audio and video streams. Let's jump in. So what is RTMS? RTMS stands for Real-Time Media Streams. It's a Zoom feature that gives you access to raw audio and video data from a meeting as it happens. This opens the door to things like live transcription, AI-powered analysis, or custom recording solutions. Why use the SDKs? Zoom provides these official SDKs to make working with RTMS even easier. They handle the WebSocket signaling, connection lifecycle, and media stream management for you. There are even 2 Quickstart repos available, this one in JavaScript and one in Python that we'll be working with today. To get started, we'll want to create an app on the Zoom App Marketplace. First, make sure you're logged into the Zoom Marketplace with your Zoom credentials. You'll know you are when you see your avatar here in the upper right-hand corner. Next, click the Develop dropdown and then Build App. Here we have a general app selected, which is perfect. Today we're going to create an RTMS app, so let's rename this something a little bit more relevant. Perfect. At the top of the build flow here, you'll notice we have our client ID and our client secret. These are both relevant for connecting to the SDKs and the APIs, and today we'll use it to connect to the RTMS SDK. If you are using an API, what you want to do is enter an OAuth redirect URL right here. This makes sure you can complete the auth flow and receive an access token to connect with one of our APIs. The first step for creating an RTMS app is to add a webhook event subscription. We can do that on the Access tab. I'm just going to name this RTMS and add 2 events. I can find all the RTMS events by searching for RTMS at the top of the page and selecting RTMS started and RTMS stopped for meetings in this case. Finally, we just need to add a URL where we're going to receive those webhook notifications. I'm adding a test URL here, but you should add wherever your domain is pointed to a webhook handler that can deal with RTMS. I'll click Save. And now I just want to add a couple scopes so that we can receive real-time audio and transcript data with our RTMS SDK. Click Scopes on the left-hand side, and then click Add Scopes here at the top. Again, we can search RTMS and see all the RTMS scopes relevant to our app. I'm going to select Meeting Audio and Meeting Transcript, and then click Done. Now you can see I have the 2 scopes that I just added, and we also have scopes for RTMS started and RTMS stopped because we selected that before. Now all I have to do is install my app on this local test tab. I'll click Add App Now, and here we have the user consent flow. Everything looks good to me, so I'll click Allow. And we're brought here to my ngrok URL, which is currently offline. Now that we've created our app, we just need a way to trigger RTMS. There are a couple ways to do this. First, you can create another app that runs inside your meeting and programmatically triggers RTMS. Or you can enable it to run with every meeting. Today, we'll do just that. Let's head over to zoom.com. Make sure that you're logged in so that you can click your avatar and then navigate to Settings. From the Settings page, we have a Zoom Apps tab here, and then we have a setting that says Auto Start Apps that access shared real-time meeting content. Let's add the app we just created. Perfect. Now that we've created our app on the Zoom App Marketplace, and we've allowed it to start with each of our meetings, we'll just need to clone down the Python Quickstart and then use that to get started right away. You can find the Quickstart on GitHub. It's under the Zoom organization. It's called RTMS Quickstart Py. I'm going to copy that clone URL and then open this in my favorite IDE where I can clone down this repository. Awesome. So you can see we have the files on the left-hand side. Let's start with the README to know where to get started. It's telling us to copy the .env file and then enter our credentials. Let's do that. If we look at this .env file, we can see we have space for RTMS client and RTMS secret. So let's go ahead and open up the app that we created on the marketplace and copy those details into this .env file. First, I'm copying the client ID, and now I'll copy the client secret, and I'll save this file to make sure those changes take effect. Looking at the README, our next steps are to run the app. As simple as that. We can run uv run main.py if we've got the uv program, or we can use the Python typical method of creating a virtual environment, activating that, installing dependencies with pip, and then running with Python. I'll use uv today. So you can see it installed the dependencies, and boom, we've got a webhook listener at localhost 8080. In order to expose that to the internet behind an HTTPS URL, what we're going to need to do is use ngrok. You noticed earlier that I set my ngrok URL to be that custom maxm URL. If you're using ngrok, your URL will likely be different, but I've started ngrok, so now we're running behind that HTTPS URL that our Zoom app expects. From here, all we have to do is start a meeting. So you can see I've started a meeting here, and if we head back into this log for our program, we can see that I'll soon start receiving transcription for what I'm saying. And in real time, we start to get a sense for how powerful it is to have access to this data. Perfect. What I want to do here is close this out. And now let's take a look at main.py to see how this is all working. First, you can see that we set up our webhook handler here, and then we queue the creation of these different clients in the main thread. Here we're creating a client related to the stream ID, and then we're creating this on transcript data callback that allows us to consume that transcript data. What I want to do is create an audio data callback so we can get that raw audio data right here. I'm just going to copy this and paste it below. And I'm just going to replace transcript with audio. Now, because this is in text, I'll remove this decode statement, and we'll just see garbled binary data output to the console. Great, let's run this again. We can see we have our webhook listener up and running. And I can trigger RTMS again from this app access notifier. And now we have tons of real-time audio data being sent into the console. I'll stop this. Of course, this isn't super useful. What you'd really want to do is pipe this out into a program to process it. But I think in real time, you start to see how much data and how impactful it is to get real-time access to audio and transcripts. And that's it. Now you've got a working RTMS integration. From here, you can pipe that media into data analytics services, AI models, or whatever your use case needs. Links to both repos are in the description. Thanks, and happy coding.